Very good morning and welcome. Welcome to this inaugural
The International Conference on Optimization, Learning and Analytics in Business, OLAB 2022.
A warm welcome to our honorable chief guests, our special guests, representatives of Kalyan Bharti Trust, management board members of Heritage Institute of Technology, Kolkata, faculty and staff members, our students, and our honored delegates attending this conference. This conference is being jointly organized by the Department of Mathematics, Heritage Institute of Technology, Kolkata, and Operational Research Society of India, Kolkata chapter. The conference includes plenary sessions and parallel sessions, and both the plenary and parallel sessions provide the participants with the opportunity to exchange ideas and suggestions on further research, collaboration, and training. In today's world, ability to store, manage, and analyze large-scale data generated by humans and machines has a very critical impact on decision-making in business, scientific discovery, social and environmental challenges. This conference will deal with different aspects of data science, efficient data processing, optimization algorithms, statistical learning, operation research modeling, and large-scale computing in business decision-making. This conference will provide a forum for researchers, practitioners, and academicians to present and discuss the most recent innovations, trends, experiences, and future challenges of optimization and learning methods and their applications in business analytics. OLAB 2022 has welcomed presentations that cover any aspect of optimization and learning research, such as new high-impact applications, parameter tuning, fourth industrial revolution, new research challenges, and hybridization issues in healthcare, finance, insurance, banking, and marketing analytics. Welcome again. The motto of Heritage Institute of Technology is Atmadipa Bhavo. Be your own lamp. The lamp of knowledge dispels the darkness of ignorance. We will start the proceedings with the lighting of the lamp by our distinguished guests and dignitaries. For this purpose, I request our dignitaries to come over to the dais. Mr. P.K. Agarwal, Chief Executive Officer, Heritage Group of Institutions, Professor Bashab Chaudhuri, Principal, Heritage Institute of Technology, Professor Bimal Kumar Roy, Chief Guest, Dr. Francis Miranda, Special Guest, Professor N.R. Banerjee, our Special Guest, Professor Debabrata Datta, Organizing Chair of OLAB 2022, Professor Bijon Sarkar, Honorary Secretary of ORSI, Professor Shamrajit Kaur, Program Chair, OLAB 2022, and Dr. Sandeep Chatterjee, Program Co-Chair, OLAB 2022, Head of the Department of Mathematics. Welcome to the stage. Now, the abstract booklet will be inaugurated, so the dignitaries are asked to stay. Dignitaries are asked to stay on the stage. The abstract booklet will be inaugurated. Photographs will be taken, please. Please be seated. And now I request the Principal, Heritage Institute of Technology, Professor Dr. Bashar Chaudhary, to deliver his welcome address. Sir.
Thank you. Good morning to all of you. The month of December, the temperature has dropped and the conferences in the different cities in the country, they have started. And we are not an exception to the general rule. We are also organizing some of the very important events. And today, it is the Operation Research Society of India and Heritage Institute of Technology together. We are organizing this particular conference, which is of international nature. And we are very happy that distinguished guests are present over here, along with the management of the institution, Heritage Institute of Technology, all the distinguished people who are running this institute, and also all the distinguished people who are running the Operation Research Society of India. We have on the dais the Chief Executive Officer of the Kalyan Bharati Trust, Sri P.K. Agarwal, Sri Samarjit Kaur, Program Chair, Professor Debabrata Datta, Organizing Chair, the Chief Guest, the former Director of the Indian Statistical Institute, and a very distinguished statistician of the country and revered all over the world, Professor Bimal Kumar Roy. Special guest, Vice President of IFORS, Dr. Francis Miranda. Our well-wisher and always an advisor of the greatest stature, Professor N.R. Banerjee, who was the Vice Chancellor of the Bengal Engineering Science University. And I think I am missing the name, Professor of Jadavpur University, and one of the well-wishers of this institute, and also the flagship bearer or the flag bearer of this particular organization, Operation Research Society of India. Sir, I'm forgetting the name. Please excuse me. Professor Bijon Sarkar. Professor Bijon Sarkar. Thank you very much. We have Professor D.K. Bhattacharya and all other very distinguished people, the directors of the different institutions of the Heritage Group, and the teachers, the important researchers, the paper presenters, and all others. We welcome this morning today to this particular conference, and we are very happy that the Operation Research Society of India has chosen this particular venue and chosen this particular college and given the responsibility to organize this. I have not taken the name of Dr. Sandeep Chatterjee intentionally, because the first discussion about this conference took place about a year ago in the office of the CEO, Sri Pradeep Agarwal. And I came to know that this day will come someday in the month of 2022. At that time, I did not have the realization that 1 year is very small. In this context, I would like to tell you about a story of Shivram Chakraborty, who used to write very good, humorous stories. And when the new year came, he was asked his opinion about the new year, he said, do not be very excited about new year, because I have thought about it. Whatever you do, you cannot extend the tenure of the new year by 1 year. Maximum 1 year it will last, because then the new year will go to some other year. So we are almost having new year. Let me tell you about the Operation Research. And I personally feel, being a chemical engineer, that optimization is a subject that needs to be focused in a very great manner. We have a lot of optimization problem. And if I tell you something very simple, a storage tank, which is basically, a storage tank of cylindrical nature, whose volume is pi d square by 4 into L. The worst problem that came to us at one time when we were students is that, if you increase the diameter, the length will reduce. So it will be like this length. Or if you reduce the diameter, it will be very large length, and it will be like a pole. And what to do with the diameter and what to do with the length? The kind of small optimization. Then, the data science, we talk about data science because of today, the earth is having 8 billion people. And 8 billion people are having 8 billion different ideas and 8 billion different sentiments and 8 billion different diseases and 8 billion or maybe more, 8 billion different things. And you do not know how to manage with so many data. You simply do not know. You are just a mind-boggling amount of data are being produced every time. And if I am asked to really manage those data, it is practically impossible to organize the data in a meaningful way. So that is why, these subjects of statistics have developed so much. The subject of operation research and optimization, simulation, all those things have come. The whole Internet of Things and city design and everything needs lots of optimization, because a person from a crowded place has to reach the office at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock. It is a big problem how the traffic will move and how the traffic lights will operate and how the best possible solution will come up. It is very difficult, to really organize these data. And we feel that this morning we will have a galaxy of people who will throw a glimpse on the subject. But more than that, what will really happen during the coming 2-3 days, is that a large number of papers will be submitted, will be presented, they will be discussed, they will be deliberated upon, and based on the different ideas, new research will be taken up for future implementation. Let me say a few words about this particular institute. 20 years ago or more than 20 years ago, 22 industrialists, 22 years ago, 22 industrialists, interesting. They decided together to have an institute of this type where very good engineers will be produced. At that time, there was a need for good engineers because the industry was coming up. Gradually with time, not only the industries needed better people, it was necessary to also do research at the cutting edge, and new subject emerged. In computer science, a large number of subjects have come already in this institute. For example, data science, for example, artificial intelligence, for example, Internet of Things. And we talk about them, but we do not really understand all of them simply because we are not trained in those areas. So the point is, we are requesting the experts to come over here from time to time and tell us in what direction the subjects will go, so that we will be able to do meaningful research or meaningful work in those areas and contribute generally to the development of this particular subject or of these subjects generally. So that is basically the purpose, and I am very happy because I have been given the duty to manage the college, and I am doing it with the support of all my colleagues. You will be very happy to know that this particular institution a few months ago got A grade in NAAC accreditation. And let me tell you, let me forcefully tell you that not a single thing was outsourced. Everything came from this particular institute. Whatever we did, we got A grade based on our performance. It was our performance, and it was no agency was recruited, nothing happened. It was basically the teachers' contribution towards the teaching learning process and whatever research we are doing, based on which we have been accredited and we have been given A grade. Out of a 4-point scale, we are 3.13. We have got 3.13, and that is our measure. That is our success. No one has contributed. Our students have done, our teachers have done, our management has done, and our trustees have given their support so that we become a good institute. We are trying. Any institute, the last word is never said about any institute. It is not a time for saying the last word, because last word is not said. It was Rabindranath who said, shesh nei je shesh kotha ke bolbe, because human civilization is a continuing process, and in this continuing process, where you will find 10 years from now, 20 years from now, none can say.
Thing is very sure, whether you are in the process of progress or not, and whether you are finding your own life to be in that process
progress or not. So the theme of our institute is that Atmo Dipo Bhavo, Atmo Sharono Bhavo, Ananya Sharono Bhavo.
Be your own life. So with your own life, if you illumine yourself, if you enlighten yourself, that is the way to proceed, and that is the way to go forward.
Requirement and contributes to the development of human civilization. I am very happy that some very distinguished persons in the field of operation research have come here today, and with their contribution, with their support, with their blessings, we will definitely go forward. That is what we can say. Thank you very much to the organizers for giving me this opportunity, and of course I am a part of the organization, so I'm taking away, and thank you very much, Sandeep, for giving me this opportunity. Thanks to the Operation Research Society for giving me this opportunity. Thanks to the management for giving me this opportunity to welcome you, and thanks to all of you for being over here. You have been so wonderful. Thank you very much.
And we thank you, sir, our principal, sir, Professor Chaudhary, for this welcome address, which really sets the stage for this conference. And now we have the privilege and honor to felicitate our dignitaries and guests. So I will request our Chief Executive Officer, sir, Shri P.K. Agarwal, and our principal, Professor Chaudhary, to felicitate first the chief guest, Professor Bimal Roy. Professor Bimal Kumar Roy, Head, R.C. Bose Center for Cryptology and Security, ISI, Kolkata. Next, we felicitate Our special guest, Professor N.R. Banerjee, former Vice Chancellor, Bengal Engineering and Science University. We have now the privilege to felicitate our special guest, Dr. Francis Miranda, Vice President, International Federation of Operational Research Societies. And now we felicitate Professor Bijon Sarkar, Honorary Secretary, Operational Research Society of India. And now we felicitate Professor Shomurjit Kaur, who is the program chair of this conference. Professor Shomurjit Kaur. Please be seated, sir. And now we request Professor Bijon Sarkar and Professor Shomurjit Kaur to come to the front of the dais and felicitate our dignitaries from Heritage itself. First, we have the privilege to felicitate our Chief Executive Officer, Shri P.K. Agarwal. The felicitators are being felicitated now. And now we would felicitate our principal, Professor Dr. Bashov Chaudhary. And now we felicitate Professor Debabruto Datta, organizing chair of this conference. Please. So, please. Two more. And sir, one more. Yeah, yes. And now the host. We felicitate Dr. Sandeep Chatterjee, head of the Department of Mathematics, Heritage Institute of Technology. A loud applause, please. Your own professor. Okay, so we are finished with our felicitations. We were honored to felicitate our guests. And now the gathering will be addressed by Chief Executive Officer, Heritage Group of Institutions, Shri P.K. Agarwal. Sir, please.
Respected Professor Bimal Kumar Ray, Chief Guest, Special Guests, Professor N.R. Banerjee, Dr. Francis Miranda, distinguished members from ORSI, and all other distinguished guests on and off the dais, all the dignitaries present as well as those present virtually. Good morning and namaskar to all of you. I feel highly motivated today to continue our collaboration with ORSI for the 5th time to organize such a conference and invite exchange of innovative ideas and collaboration amongst the researchers, fraternity working in multidisciplinary areas. Heritage Institute of Technology has always given an extreme importance in promoting the research and innovation ecosystem and is striving very hard to become a research-centric institution. In this era of sustainable development, I believe that researchers working in the domain of operation research and allied areas play a very significant role towards a better economy and hence the future of industry. Though we are in the midst of Industry 4.0, is basically a union amongst the physical assets and advanced technologies such as artificial intelligence, IoT, data science, robotics, quantum computing, etc. And such industries under 4.0 are quite flexible and prepared for data-driven decisions. But the upcoming Industry 5.0 will bring a new revolution in the manufacturing systems worldwide by preventing repetitive tasks from human workers. The intelligent robots will penetrate manufacturing supply chain as well as the workflow of the production to unparalleled levels. I think such conference will give us an opportunity to deliberate the future challenges as well. I, on behalf of Heritage Group of Institutions, wish that this international conference will be a great success and a meaningful one. I hope that all of you will enjoy the hospitality of Bengal on the eve of Christmas. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. And now for the addresses by our guests. First, the address by Professor Shamarjit Kaur, Program Chair, OLAB 2022. Sir.
A very good morning to all of you. Respected Professor Bimal Roy, today's chief guest, Professor Inar Banerjee, guest of honor, Dr. Miranda, Professor Basod Choudhury, Professor Mr. Agarwal, Professor Bijan Sarkar, Professor Datta, Organizing Chair, OLAB 2022, Dr. Sandeep Chatterjee, honorable delegates from India and abroad, invited guests, media, colleagues, my colleagues, researchers, and my dear students. On behalf of organizing committee of this conference, it is my distinct privilege to welcome you all at Heritage Institute of Technology, Kolkata for the International Conference on Optimization, Learning, and Analytics in Business, popularly known as OLAB 2022. I'm really very thankful to the delegates who have traveled long distances to share their knowledge and experience with us. Some of our important foreign speakers are unable to attend this conference physically due to COVID restriction and other problems, but they are agreed to give their presentation through online. OLAB 2022 is organized by the Operational Research Society of India, Kolkata chapter, and the Department of Mathematics, Heritage Institute of Technology, with the foremost objective to bringing academicians, researchers, and practitioners from around the world on a common platform to share their knowledge and learn from each other. The theme of this conference is optimization and learning and its application in computing and analytics in business, which is the most appropriate theme in today's information-intense age. In this conference, we have received huge responses from the researchers of the different areas. With the help of our program committee and reviewers, this submission went through an extensive peer review process, and all the papers were reviewed by 2 to 3 good reviewers from India and abroad. After first round of review, we have accepted a good number of submissions for oral presentation. I am delighted to share you that expected number of participants for oral presentation in this conference will be around 160. Finally, most suitable paper will be accepted for the special issue of our society journal, OpSearch, and conference proceeding after the final revision. We have a total 24 parallel sessions, which will provide a comprehensive overview of the current research and direction for future works in optimization and learning theory and its application in different directions. We have also planned for 5 keynote sessions, 6 plenary and 8 invited sessions by distinguished academicians and eminent researchers from industry to provide you a wide variety through a several directions at the same platform. It is my pleasure to share you, in addition to the contributed papers, the keynote and plenary sessions will be glorified by distinguished professors like Dr. Francis Miranda, Vice President, International IFORS, Professor Gautam Chakraborty, Faculty of Software and Information Sciences, Iota University, Japan, Professor Roman Slovansky, Poznan University of Technology, Poland. He is also editor-in-chief of very famous journal, European Journal of Operational Research. Professor Andrew Skobron, System Research Institute, University of Warsaw. He is the best computer scientist. He was the best computer scientist in 2015. Professor Oscar Castillo, Tijuana Institute of Technology, Mexico. Professor Boarding Liu, Tsinghua University, China. Dr. Gautam Banerjee, Director, Business Bio. Professor Jean Peng, Huang'an University, China. Professor Melauli, Martin Luther University, Germany. Professor Sanjoy Mehtra, Northwestern University of Illinois. Professor M.K. Tiwari, Director, NITI, Mumbai. Professor Mohan Choudhury, Royal Military College, Canada. Dr. Sandeepan Dandopat, Microsoft India Development Center, Hyderabad. Professor Jiao Huang, University of Science and Technology, Beijing, China. enlightened enlightening OLAB 2022 by their gracious presence as keynote and plenary sessions. On behalf of OLAB 2022, I express my thanks to the organizing committee, program committee members, and the reviewers for their diligent work. I take this opportunity to thank Heritage Institute of Technology, Kolkata, for providing the necessary support and other resources to organize this conference. We are also thankful to different government agencies and private agencies for providing financial support. I sincerely hope that this conference is going to be very fruitful. I'm sure you are also back to your institution, universities, by enriching yourself more knowledge and experience. I would like to thank the organizing team and student members for their untiring effort for these 3 days conference to make out is a memorable one. And my best wishes to all the participants to enjoy these 3 days to take their maximum learning from this conference. I'm sure you'll have a comfortable stay at Kolkata. Have a great conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your address. And now I request our organizing chair, OLAB 2022, Professor Debabrata Datta, to address the gathering. Sir.
Good morning to all. Mr. Heritage Institute of Technology's Chief Executive Officer, Mr. P.K. Agarwal, Professor Basab Choudhury, Principal of the Heritage Institute of Technology, then Professor Bimal Roy, Head RC Bose Center for Cryptology and Security and former Director of the ISI Kolkata, because I introduced with him as a Director of ISI Kolkata. And then Professor Samarjit Kaur, Program Chair, OLAB 2022, Professor N.R. Banerjee, former Vice Chancellor, BESU, Dr. Francis Miranda, Vice President, I4S, then Dr. Sandeep Chatterjee, my beloved colleague at Heritage Institute of Technology. So I welcome all the students community and the international distinguished speakers, those who are online and offline. The idea of the OLAB is abbreviated as optimization, learning and analytics in business. Now, when you talk about the business, business does not include here the profit and loss. Business may be in any subject. If you are dealing with any engineering subject, that also we do at the business. So many people has got some not perfect word that what is the business. Business indicates that the many other subjects which is culmination of again the optimization and learning. Now, as far as the optimization is concerned, we all know many kind of optimization. If we attend students community, if you attend the classes that the optimization, you start with the optimization as the linear programming. But today's optimization is not the linear programming, something different. And that itself is called that there is some analytics with the help of the data science. And if you talk about the just 20 years back, if you go back, there are also a lot of data was there. Those data, if you wanted to learn in today's technology, we will call that that data has generated the today's data. So whenever any kind of data generates the other data, we call it the metadata, right? So we were in the universe. Recently, a concept came, which I contributed very recently in the Springer book test, Springer book of big data, which is nothing but the metaverse, meta plus universe. So optimization will take you to the meta universe or metaverse, where your learning and analytics will be based on not classical, but it will be quantum mechanical. Okay, and that's the reason that the quantum computation is coming in. And whenever we have a lot of data, you have to keep all these things in the form of a security manner. That is nothing but the blockchain. So optimization is there, but definitely that the security has to be there, which will be achieved by the blockchain. Whenever again that we will talk about the optimization, it is understood that what kind of optimization it is. Is it a stochastic, single objective, multi-objective, or there are many more? When we do a robot at our nuclear industry, we do the multi-objective optimization because robot has got the 14 degrees of freedom. And whenever we do some kind of communication, we will apply a cryptography technique. Okay, where Professor Bimal Roy has taught many of our BRC colleagues. After coming there, we have a tie-up with him, my tie-up with ISI. So apart from that, I think that all the students will be learning a lot with the various kinds of paper. And I hope everything you have to do with the help of your achievement, that what kind of analytics you are doing. Learning analytics is a totally common name, where whenever you go for the optimization, you have to remember that you are basically doing risk-informed optimization, means risk-informed decision making. That is RIDM we call. Optimization cannot be the absolute. You have to have some kind of risk. If it is falling within that your threshold, yes, you are win. If it is going beyond, you are lost. So that kind of thing you have to achieve. And all these subjects, as Professor Basudeb Choudhury mentioned, that in chemical engineering, a lot of optimization is there. Not only in the chemical engineering, today's in the electrical technology, mechanical engineering, and also in the electronics, what we call the spintronics, a lot of optimization is there. A lot of microchip devices are required to develop, where a system is required to be tuned with the very accurate. For example, if you, I worked with the ISRO also many of the times, and when you decided that to launch a missile to attack the enemy, so you have to be optimized. You cannot just miss out. So that thing always has to be cared. So idea is that whatever the number of papers will be presented, requesting all the students to be attended, and then you will, when you will take back your home, so you will get some lesson that how we can apply and try to apply that. Idea is that Swami Vivekananda has told one thing, that until and unless you practice, subject cannot be learned. So even though you are doing for learning analytics, you have to practice it. And with that, I welcome all the students, and I hope that it will be a grand success for 3 days OLAP 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. And now I request our special guest, Professor N.R. Banerjee, former Vice Chancellor of Bengal Engineering and Science University, to deliver his address. Sir.
Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Roy, my professional colleagues on the dais, and most importantly, my dear students. When I see such a large number of students in this kind of a conference, I feel that India has got a bright future depending on your contribution to her economy and especially industry. When I worked for industry, I was a student of Professor S.P. Mukherjee, whom I can never forget, and also a good friend of mine, Professor Subir Choudhury of ICI, and my senior alumnus of IIT Kharagpur. Now, we had learned so many things from them, which we could utilize in the functions of generation and distribution of electricity, including various management functions. And basically, managers are needed to optimize all those functions so that the outcome or the output, which in industry parlance is known as return on investment, that is there. A share of it goes to the management, that is the owners, the shareholders, and a portion of it goes to the workers. That is how industry works. Now, when I switched over to education field, I found still there are various problems for which a teacher has to take a decision, or an administrator has to take a decision optimizing. And most importantly, my colleague, Professor Chaudhuri, knows you have got a limited amount of fund and you have to play with it, catering to the requirements of various departments of the university or the educational institute, science, engineering, so on and so forth. This is again a problem where the techniques of operations research or operational research, as you call it, could be utilized for the purpose of optimization. But dear friends, especially my dear students, I will request you to kindly pester the lives of your teachers in terms of utilizing or getting to know more and more of open source softwares. Because the softwares we elderly people, we are accustomed to use, those are basically bought. Even researchers in the field, they are very much dependent on MATLAB, ignoring the open source like Scilab and other softwares which are available and could be utilized. So I will request you, my dear students, please go in for open source. These are freely available. And here in Kolkata itself, Jadavpur University, along with IIT Bombay, they are championing the use of open source. They've got a society, open source society. I suggest you take their help and you take the help of your teachers. And I think Macaut has revised its syllabus in terms of incorporating various open source softwares and languages in use. So that's a right step in the direction. You know, sometimes we feel, are we ensuring that our students suffer from information overload? But time has come when, as a student, whatever we had to learn or we knew, today you have to learn much more at a much smaller amount of time. And science and engineering, they are progressing very fast. And dear students and my learned teachers, all of us, we have to keep pace with it in terms of, again, the question of optimizing. And when you carry out research, unfortunately in our country, I use the word unfortunately because when a student registers himself for doctoral work, he has to pursue certain coursework, and we have invariably research methodology, basically operational research techniques, simulation, and all sorts. This should be ingrained in our undergraduate programs so that, more importantly, the researcher can devote more time to his or her work. So this requires careful consideration by all of us who are administering national education policy. And I suggest the society, please contribute towards preparation of courseware, and so that you can help the central and the state government in their endeavor in terms of broadening and intensifying their efforts in terms of SWAYAM platform and also NPTEL. I believe when professional societies like ORSI, they join hands with MHRD, AICTE, or similar other bodies like UGC, it will be more and more meaningful and effective for the purpose of teaching learning. With these words, I thank the organizers for having invited me this morning and having or providing me an opportunity of speaking to so many young minds. As I said, and I stress again and again, the future of the country depends. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your address. And now I request our special guest, Dr. Francis Miranda, Vice President, International Federation of Operational Research Societies, to address the gathering. Sir.
Good morning, everyone. So first, I'd like to thank the and congratulate the organizing committee, especially Professor Samarjit Kaur and Professor Debabrata Datta for organizing such a wonderful conference in this great venue. And with that, also like to thank Principal Professor Basab Chaudhary and CEO Mr. PK Agarwal. So thank you for hosting us in this venue. So for the International Federations of Operations Research, our vision is to increase the awareness of operations research, not only in business, but in society. Because as we all know, and as what was mentioned previously, it has a lot of impact, not only for business, but for society. So operations research has been around long time, so more than 70 years. So sometimes I get the question, is it still relevant today? Or is this already obsolete? So actually, for me, operations is much more important now than ever because of the increasing societal problems, the new problems we are facing, like climate change, like pandemics, including wars. So all of these can be addressed or prevented using operations research. Also, as someone that has attended conferences in the past, I would say 20 years, I've been attending OR conferences in Asia. I noticed that the theme of the conferences also changed a bit. So in maybe 20 years ago, a lot of the papers were on traditional operations research, linear programming, queuing theory, simulation. But now, more recently, there has been an integration with machine learning, data science. So Professor also talked about Industry 4.0, 5.0. So these are all becoming more important now and being integrated. So I encourage you, especially the students, to continuously learn about operations research. So I'd like to quote something from our national hero from the Philippines, Dr. Jose Rizal. He mentioned that the youth is the future of the country. So with that, again, I would like to encourage you during these 3 days to take part in the different sessions and different talks and try to learn as much as you can and also apply them when you move on to business, to government, or wherever area you may choose. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your very enlightening address. And now we request our chief guest, Professor Bimal Kumar Roy, Head, R.C. Bose Center for Cryptology and Security, ISI, Kolkata, to address our gathering. Sir, please.
All the dignitaries on the dais and dear participants. First, let me correct a little bit of the organizers that I'm no longer the head of R.C. Bose Center. I'm all former. So we have a new head there. Let me first share one of my experience with my first exposure to optimization. As a student, I studied it, but that's all. Write exams, solve, do assignments, copy assignments from fellow friends, and that's what was my learning of optimization. But after I joined back ISI as a junior faculty member, we met the then mayor of Kolkata, Mr. Komul Basu, and he just passingly told, Bimal, do you think the fleet that we have for cleaning all the garbage in the city, is that sufficient, or do you have to buy many more? And people always complain that the city is getting dirty, garbage is not being cleared. So now, what is your take? If you have to buy more trucks, more vehicles, how many? Then I came back and I was teaching a course for the master students there, and I told them. And the way I learned from the students, and then we formulated this as an optimization problem. So how do I know whether these trucks numbers are good enough or not? So unless we know how to utilize them best. So we immediately get into what I call the routing or scheduling problem of this one. So we could actually sit with the Calcutta map. It's a huge task, and some idea of the data about the garbage accumulation in streets, markets, and household, etc. And normally the people who are working with the Calcutta Corporation, they had good idea about this much garbage is produced here, a market, garbage. So we could get this. So we take this as our input for the entire city of Calcutta, huge bunch of data. And then we're trying to see, how do I route? I think that time there are 125 trucks, and how do I route them? And we have some constraints that the workers are not going to take more than 2 or 3 trips. Okay, so this is also a constraint. So we could work out a lot of constraints, and then how do we route? And then we actually found that 125 was actually good enough. So this was, and well, Mayor Basu was very delighted. The chief engineer, I don't remember his name, he was very delighted. And then they said, can you then give us a scheduling algorithm? So we have handed over the algorithm to the Calcutta Corporation. And as I understand, even today, that is the basis how they route the vehicles today. So things have changed, but the basic algorithm doesn't change. And in fact, the students published a paper in OpSearch that time, long back. So I came to know about OpSearch also. That's my first exposure to doing actually optimization problem. And it was fascinating. And I didn't know anything, my students did it, but it was fascinating to work with them. Now, there are 2 current problems I'll mention for the students to take up. One is, how do you schedule a tournament? You see this, you have this IPL, ISL, all this, even this EPL, all these tournaments, they have a home and away match, league match. Now, if you try to put a restriction that a team cannot play more than so many consecutive home matches or more than so many consecutive away matches. Okay, now can I schedule such an algorithm or not? Even that seems to be difficult. Forget about the traveling time and all these things. There are other costs involved. Just the feasibility of doing this. So if I say that no team is going to play more than 2 consecutive home games and more than 2 consecutive away games. Now, these problems are computationally hard. It's proven, the general framework. So what people are doing, so I know one guy who was working on that, he sold his solution to this European Champions League and made a lot of money. So, so people are doing it. So somebody can probably design something for IPL or ISL with some restrictions and see if you can give an optimized solution. I think there is still no theoretically optimal solution, which is impossible because the problem is computationally hard. But can you come out with some very good approximate algorithms? So the students are very good at it because my students found the algorithm for the garbage cleaning. I didn't do. This is one. The other thing, that's what I say, real-time optimization. In the telecom domain, you see sometimes when you're making a phone call, it beep, 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 it takes time. And what is it doing? Sometimes there's a call drop. So there are these towers and there's a bandwidth between the towers. Now, when I make a phone call, it has to move through the towers. So there could be a base algorithm that if I'm calling from here to Basavedi in Japan, how the call would move. But it may so happen that one tower to another tower, the bandwidth has been already captured by maybe 100 other calls. Okay, then we have to do a real-time rerouting. And when you do the beep, 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 that means it's trying to find a separate route. The usual route that was designed is not working, the bandwidth is gone. So it does beep, beep, beep. And sometimes if it doesn't find for some time, it just the call drops. Now this is a domain, what I say, telecom routing. I have seen many papers, but far from being a real acceptable, good, optimal solution. So this is something real-time telecom routing in telecom. This is, I think this is something the students can look into. And probably if you get in touch with these telephone companies, you will get the data also. The data is going to help you actually to give this routing algorithm. It might so happen that for this, from this particular tower to the other particular, that becomes very busy over time. Now, this kind of data and look into the data, and that will help you. So this is just not an optimization algorithm. This historical data is going to give you some lead in how to actually design an optimization algorithm. What is the optimization here? I don't want to wait. I make a phone call to Gautam Da, it must go there immediately. That's the optimality I'm looking for. And that is just, it's actually a tough job. It's not a cake. So people have to work hard, and I think the students can actually play a very important role. And I'll finish with my other experience of learning. I got fascinated a few years back. I was invited by Tata Steel to visit and to see, so, you know, there's a production process of steel. This blast furnace, sometimes, you know, they get off for some reason or other. And then the Tata Steel is a fantastic set of engineers, so they'll fix it. But even if this blast furnace is stopped for even half an hour, you can't imagine what is the financial loss. It's enormous. Then you start, it's an enormous financial loss. So I think the MD was asking me that is it possible to, you know, do what they call predictive maintenance, meaning that can I guess before it gets off, say 2 hours before, 1 hour before, or 3 hours before, that is very likely to stop. So you have to understand why does it stop. So we had to look into the records of all the failures. When the failures took place, the engineers gave a report. I'd look at those reports, and they found that the certain impurity in the air, because the hot air is blown, the temperature level they maintain, the ore has lots of impurities. Okay, there are a lot of parameters, and the engineers found it. So there is a huge set of data of all the failures and why they found it a failure. And then we tried to see, could we actually give any statistical learning algorithm to learn this failure? And again, our students are great. So they sit with all these data, and they did find a fairly good learning algorithm that they could learn these failures. So actually they could predict a few hours before. So what is the implication? Huge implication. So they collect data using sensors at the plant itself, and the data is continuously fed to this learning model. And if it predicts that in 2 hours, there is a probability of 0.8 that this may stop, this blast furnace, the team immediately gets into the business and they will get into the process. And without stopping this procedure, the thing is taken care of. And after that, the number of blast furnace, these cases of stopping the blast furnace activities have reduced considerably. So this is again a learning, I would say even optimization is a marriage of all this concept and looking at all the past data very carefully. So, and this is applicable to, I think, Heritage can take an initiative to all the industries. So any kind of failure in any kind of manufacturing, okay, I think we can probably adopt, if we have the failure data, we can learn it and we can help that before the failure comes, we can give a trigger. And we can build a culture of predictive maintenance. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your very illuminating address. And I now request Professor Bijon Sarkar, Honorary Secretary of Operational Research Society of India, to deliver his address.
I shall start with the chanting from the Upanishad, as the name of this hall is Vivekananda Auditorium. Asatama Sadgamayo, Tamoshama Jyotirgamayo, Mrityurama Amritangamayo. Good morning and to everybody. Professor Basab Choudhury, Principal, Heritage Institute of Technology, Kolkata. Mr. P.K. Agarwal, CEO, Kalyan Bharti Trust. Professor Samarjit Kaur, Program Chair, OLAP 2022. Professor Deobrata Datto, Organizing Chair, OLAP 2022. Professor Inar Banerjee, former Vice Chancellor, BESU. Dr. Francis Miranda, the Vice President, IFORS. Professor Bimal Kumar Roy, former head, R.C. Bose Institute of Center for the Cryptology and Security, ISA Kolkata. Mr. Shondeep Chatterjee, head of the Department, Heritage Institute of Technology. Professor K.K. Choudhury, Department of Management Science, Heritage Institute of Technology, Professor Sushanto Sarkar, Head of the Department, Mechanical Engineering Department, our beloved incoming President of ORSI, Professor Moti Rajanji, Professor Maiti of Vidyasagar University, Professor Mr. Uma Prasad Dotto, our returning officer for the ORSI election 22-23, Professor Pinaki Bhattacharya of Chemical Engineering Department of Heritage Institute, former professor of Jadavpur University, Professor Avinash Kumar, our Vice President of ORSI, all the dignitaries, participants, and the students. Really, it is a great pleasure for all of us to have such a wonderful topic of discussions that start with optimization, learning, and analytics in business. The first word is optimization. I have come to this hall previously also, but this time while entering to the hall, we have seen that one statement given by Swami Vivekananda written there. What is said, if you just go through that statement, clear, that's all about optimization. I was thinking, at that time, optimization was not there because optimization came in the 1939-47, that period. Now, before that, Indian erudite scholar conceived the idea of optimizations. If you look the statement, if you look just the statement given in the walls, it's all about Pareto optimization. What's about that? We all know that the 80-20 rules. We know the benefit of Pareto, the great mathematician, economist, clear, who was born in 1848, 18 July in the city Milan. He observed, it is his observation. What was his observation? He observed that the 20% people of the city Milan possessed 80% of land. And 80% of population of Milan possesses the 20% of land. So it goes by the name 80-20 rules. Dear participant friends and the colleagues, optimization was not new for Indian soil. It was there long before. It reminds me a story about the Jaggabalka Rishi. He had the two wives. One is Maitri, and the other is your Katyayani. During Gargi. During the conversation, if we just go through that story, it's a wonderful. That's all about optimization. I must know only one. I must know only one thing by which I can get the 100% benefit. We all want to be happy. Who does not want to be happy in this world? Can you raise your hand? We are all interested to be happy by any means. But our Indian soil reiterated 1,000 years ago that learn only one and get the benefits 100%. Now coming back to the second part, the learning. The very important topic for all of us, teaching learning process. Now there is a concept now known as the PAW per meter. P for the pedagogy, A for the andragogy, and H for the heterogogy. Pedagogy is the engagement. That was for the 2 years to 22 years students. So for the engagement, we engage the student. Now from the 23 to 53 years meant for the andragogy is a cultivation. Whatever you learned, cultivation. Even you know that by the opposite side of Jadavpur University, there is a center is there, Indian Institute of Cultivation of Science. So cultivation, go on cultivating the ideas. Whatever idea we got during this learning period. And the last 53 and the rest part of the life is the heterogogy, is the realization. Our realization is most important. When we go for the optimization problem, whenever we deal any optimization problem, dear friends, this is all about the hard skill. Whole skill is decomposed into two parts. One is the hard skill, and another is the flexible skill. Sometimes it goes by the soft skill. And this combined goes by the name Pansophy. This is a very, very important word. P-A-N-S-O-P-H-Y, Pansophy. This is a very powerful word. The lacuna of Indian education system, not only Indian education system, all the rest part of the world. I can assure you, the further of optimization or the further of MCDM, multi-criteria decision making, is Sati, Thomas L. Sati. After his retirement from MIT, he has gone for finding out the relationship
while we were going for the pairwise comparison matrix, how the value we are adding. So he was talking about the cognitive science. It is now coming back, not only the hard skill, but also the soft skills should be mixed up to make an optimal, eclectic, and exotic decisions to be happy, to make the others happy. With a few words, once again, I thank you, the organizers, thank you, our Heritage Institute of Technology, for giving us this opportunity to organize this seminar on behalf of the ORSI. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for your address. And now, on behalf of the hosts, the vote of thanks will be delivered by Dr. Sandeep Chatterjee, Head of the Department of Mathematics, Heritage, and Program Co-Chair of this conference.
A very good morning to the dignitaries on and off the dais. It's an extreme honor and privilege to stand on this podium in front of the luminaries from whom I personally learned many things. I can see Professor Bhattacharya, Professor Maiti here. So it's an extreme honor and privilege for me. On behalf of the Department of Mathematics and on my personal behalf, first I would like to thank our chief guest, Professor Bimal Kumar Roy. Sir has given us time from his busy schedule. I know sir has an engagement after this meeting only. I'd like to thank our special guests, Professor Enar Banerjee, who had been a mentor for us always. Dr. Francis Miranda. I'd like to thank our delegates and representatives from ORSI, Professor Bijon Sarkar, Professor Samarjit Kaur, Professor Uma Prasad Dotto. We have Professor Mathirajan here, Professor Avnish Kumar, all other delegates who are here as invited and keynote speakers. I'd like to thank the members of trustees of Heritage Group of Institutions. I'd like to thank the members of the Board of Governors. I'd like to thank our Chief Executive Officer, Sri P.K. Agarwal. I'd like to thank our Principal, Professor Basab Choudhury, the Deputy General Manager, Mr. Santosh Kumar Rai, the Chief Finance Officer, Mr. Manoj Sarogi. I'd like to thank Joint Register Administration, Heritage Institute of Technology, Mr. Arvind Srivastava. Without his continuous support, organizing this kind of an event would have been very difficult. I'd like to thank Campus Administrator, Colonel Amitabh Ghosh Dostidar, who has been supportive always in every aspect. I'd like to thank all the heads of the departments of Heritage Institute of Technology. I'd like to thank, on behalf of the Department of Mathematics, I would like to thank the organizing chair, Professor Devabroto Dotto, because I cannot thank him on behalf of the organizers. So on behalf of Department of Mathematics, I would like to thank him. I'd like to thank our registrar, sir, Professor Dr. Sujit Borua. And last but not the least, I'd like to thank all the participants and contributors of OLAB 2022. I thank you because you have chosen this conference to submit your esteemed work and to present your work here. I'd like to thank the reviewers also who have given great effort to review all the submitted articles. And the list will go on if I start taking all the names individually. So I may not be able to take some of the names individually. I would like to thank all the sister institutions of Heritage Group of Institutions. They have given every support whenever we asked from them. So all the other institutes of Heritage Group of Institutions are also thanked duly. So with this, please forgive me if I am forgetting any name, because you can understand organizing this kind of conference is not possible without support of many people, without the patronage of many people, without active work of many. And it will be I will fail to do my duty if I don't thank all my colleagues in the Department of Mathematics. I know they have given great effort to make everything, to put everything in order. So I thank all the faculty members of the Department of Mathematics, all the faculty members of other departments of Heritage Institute of Technology. Thank you all, and I wish the participants will have a nice stay as stated by all the speakers. The discussions, the exchange of thoughts will open up new avenues for research in multidisciplinary pattern. With this hope, with this urge, I would like to conclude this thing and wish you all a great stay in Kolkata, a great conference, great learning experience. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Well, I thank Dr. Sandeep Chatterjee for delivering the vote of thanks and, of course, for all his service in organizing this conference. And our proceedings will now come to an end with the singing of the national anthem. And I request the students to rise to your feet.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय